Okay, so today we're going deep, really deep, into the career of Sean P. Diddy Combs.
P. Diddy, huh?
Yeah, Diddy Puff Daddy, whatever you know him as. But specifically, we're looking at his kind of controversial place in the whole 90s rap scene.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole world unto itself, isn't it?
It really is. And luckily, we've got this source that breaks down a massive video investigation into Diddy's story.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, it's a lot. Think of this deep dive like I don't know, a cheat sheet to a very complex and frankly messy story. We're basically asking, was Diddy's ambition a good thing, a bad thing, or like somewhere in between?
That's a great question because his story really overlaps with like a major turning point in music, right? The 90s rap scene just exploded, both creatively and, well, with the violence and everything.
Yeah, and this source doesn't hold back at all. They pretty much paint Diddy as get this, a rap antagonist.
No, an antagonist? Is that like a villain, like in a movie?
Haha. I don't know if it's that dramatic, but they definitely imply that some of his actions had, let's say, negative consequences.
Interesting. I mean, to really get that, we got to understand the context, right? The 90s rap scene was, well, it was kind of wild. Record labels were making bank, like more money than ever before, and that just ramped up the competition, blurred the lines between the music and the street, you know what I mean?
Definitely. And that's where Biggie comes in,
Yeah.
right? Diddy's relationship with Biggie seems to be like the core of this whole thing.
For sure. And Biggie's success just blew up so fast, it's no surprise it caused jealousy, conflict. Sadly, that was just the reality back then.
Yeah, and the source even talks about some tension between Diddy and his artists, like beyond just Biggie. Did that tension make the whole East Coast, West Coast thing even more dangerous?
Hard to say for certain, but it couldn't have helped, right? The source goes through some specific events leading up to Tupac and Biggie's deaths, and it really makes you think, did those rivalries, maybe even Diddy's own ambition, push things over the edge? Like, how responsible is someone like Diddy for the well-being of his artists, especially in that environment?
That's a good question, especially in a scene as, volatile as you're describing.
Exactly. And think about the pressure on Biggie. Even if he didn't want to be involved in violence, imagine the pressure from everyone around him, from that whole scene. It had to be intense.
Yeah, no kidding. And then things get even more complicated because the source accuses Diddy of, well, basically manipulating his artists financially.
That's right. They make some pretty strong claims about contracts, about Diddy taking advantage of his artists, Biggie included. It's serious stuff.
And this isn't just about Diddy, though, right? Isn't this like a widespread issue in the music industry?
Unfortunately, yeah. You see artists struggling to keep control of their work, their money, even today. If these allegations about Biggie are true, it's a prime example of how messed up that power dynamic can be.
Man, it's almost tragic, but when you think about it, Tupac and Biggie's deaths actually boosted their record sales, which is just...
It's a crazy paradox, isn't it? Like, the industry profiting off tragedy. Makes you wonder about those posthumous releases. Are they truly honoring those artists, or just exploiting them for profit?
It's a tough question. So, where does this leave us? What's the final word on Diddy? Was he actually involved in what happened to Tupac and Biggie?
I wish we had a clear answer, but the truth is murky. The source says there's a lot of speculation, but not enough hard evidence. That world keeps its secrets. We may never know for sure.
Yeah, it seems like it. But this whole deep dive, it really makes you think, about ambition, success, responsibility, all that, especially in the music business.
Absolutely. And maybe it even makes us rethink how we consume music, how we see figures like P. Diddy. Knowing what we know about the industry, about how things can go wrong, does it change how we feel about it all?
Really good point. And hey, anyone listening, if you want to go deeper, there are tons of documentaries, articles, interviews out there. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, dive in and see what you find. It's a fascinating and sometimes disturbing world.
That's for sure. All right, thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later.